Interesting and, in fact, fascinating. I ran across a piece by a writer named Matthew Continetti. Now, I've seen that name before, and I may have even quoted pieces that Matthew Continetti has written on prior broadcasts. This is a piece that ran on May 31st in the Free Beacon, and it's called The California Captivity of the Democrat Party. And I'll tell you why it fascinates me. What you and I, we look at the state of California, and we have red flags and warning bells that go off. And we see a disaster that if the country goes the way of California, then the country is, at least in terms of the way it was founded, lost. California is an abject mess. High taxes. You have a caste system of economics out there. You've got the poorest of the poor, the least educated of the least educated. You have the wealthiest of the wealthy. You have the most powerful of the powerful. You have the extremes of wealth and the extremes of poverty, and it's all run by the American left. It's all run by Democrats. It's all run by moneyed people. And Mr. Continetti's point here is that the state of California, when you and I look at it, say, my gosh, what if the Republican Party hadn't been a factor there, and when? Since when, the 80s, 90s? Republican Party hasn't mattered in California, and it may not for a long time. You know, anything can happen in politics. But if the trends continue, the Republican Party may as well not even exist there. It's one-party state control, one-party control, and it's tax increase here, tax increase there, cost of living there, real estate prices skyrocketing. Average American can't afford much of anything in California. You go... I know that. Well, the debt is horrendous. You go inland in California, you find an entirely different way of life than you'll find on the coasts. But Continetti's point is that California is exactly what the American left wants the country to be. That California is nirvana to them. The state represents, this is a pull quote from Continetti's piece, the state represents a possible future for the entire nation and the preferred future of the American left, environmentally stringent, demographically heterogeneous, Pacific-oriented, inequality-obsessed, and devoid of conservatives in positions of influence everywhere. Another pull quote, the Southern Democrats are long dead. The Midwestern and Rust Belt Democrats are dying. The New England Puritan Democrats have ceded control of their party to the donors of the West. If Obama and his party leadership have a problem with the California captivity of the Democrat Party, I can't detect it. What they should not forget, though, is that California is known not only for its starlets and startups, but also for its earthquakes. And one of the points of the piece is, you and I look at California, we ask, how in the world can people continue to vote such things against themselves? How can this happen? It's the same question that so many people have. Why in the world is every Democrat in favor of higher taxes? Don't they pay them too? What in the world explains it? No matter what answer you give people, none of it makes any sense. Let me read just a few passages of Matthew Continetti's piece. This is a story about politics and power in California, and it begins with money. In fact, it was Karl Marx, folks, who said that the most important and powerful thing in power is money. The left has made everybody think that they do everything they do for altruistic or charitable reasons. They don't care about money, and the exact opposite is true. This is a story about politics and power in California. Begins with money. In early May, a luxury resort in Laguna Beach hosted a 5-day semi-annual meeting with Democracy Alliance, secret invitation-only organization of liberal money bags that since its formation in 2005 has directed some $500 million in contributions to progressive groups. Never has a wolf's den been so posh. The alliance discloses neither its members nor its beneficiaries, but some of the details of its structure have leaked out over time. Los Angeles Times, which was granted exclusive access to the Laguna retreat, reports that Chris Hughes, the Facebook millionaire, who owns a failing lifestyle magazine, has joined the ranks of the alliance, which has roughly 100 members. They pay annual dues of $30,000. They're required to contribute at least $200,000 to organizations in a group's portfolio. Anyway, what motivates these people? What motivates them is having access to power, getting it via money, and making sure that there is no opposition anywhere. Now that, I've often said, that's Obama's objective, is the elimination of all opposition. And it is. But it turns out that the California Democrat, the liberal, in Hollywood and in academia, you get Silicon Valley, you got Hollywood, you got academia. Those are the three elements of liberalism in California, and they all exist to advance each other at whatever cost to anybody else, and they insist on no Republicans being anywhere.
Doing the work that the mainstream